Hello, I'm Huang Rina from OsstemImplant. It's a pleasure to meet you all through staff seminar. Today, I'll help those of you who are new to assisting with implant surgery, so you can understand the kit components and how to use each instrument during surgery. Soon, many new dental hygienists will be taking their first steps in clinical practice, and I hope today's session serves as a helpful guide for those beginners. Now, let's take a look at the implant kit. There are so many components, aren't there? Seeing all these instruments for the first time can be a bit overwhelming. Here's an AI-generated image of an implant surgery. During the procedure, we constantly switch drills depending on the purpose. If you understand the full process and prepare the next drill in advance, you'll be a much better assistant. Without knowing these instruments, you might feel nervous, or in the worst case, hesitate to enter the surgery room at all. I had similar experiences myself in the early days. After today's session, I hope you can take away at least 3 things. First, a clear understanding of the kit components. Second, mastering the drill's diameters, lengths, and drilling sequences. And lastly, becoming familiar with which instruments to use depending on the clinical situation. Now, I'll guide you through each of these one by one. Today, we'll take a look at the 122TaperKIT. To tell you how the kit got its name, it requires just 1 drilling step for soft bone, and only 2 for normal or hard bone. So, this is one of our most essential surgical kits for implant surgery. The numbers down the columns indicate the drill lengths. Across the rows, the drills are labeled with F to match the size of the implant you're using. I'll go into more detail about this in a moment. These are all drilling instruments. We start with the guide drill to determine the precise position and angulation. From there, you'll use a sequence of drills to expand the site to match the diameter of the implant. Let's take a look at the drill. You'll notice a built-in stopper. Each drill in this kit is designed for a preset depth, preventing any over-drilling beyond the stopper. There is a prominent marking located about 1 mm below the stopper. You can view this as a buffer, considering the variations in bone height for each patient. And here on the tip, you can see the Y dimension, which is included in the total drill length. But this length varies for each drill. So, among all these drilling instruments, you'll usually pick about 2 drills that match the diameter and length of your implant. Next, let's take a look at other instruments. You might find this one unfamiliar. It's the drill extension. Sometimes, adjacent teeth can get in the way, especially in the mandibular anterior or posterior areas. In these cases, you can use this to extend the reach of your drill. Now, there's one critical thing to keep in mind. Let me first connect this to the handpiece. Typically, saline irrigation directly hits the drill. But with an extension, the saline hits the extension instead, leaving the drill tip dry. As you know, minimizing heat generation is a key success factor in implant surgery. So, when using an extension, make sure to irrigate the drill tip with a saline syringe. Next, let's look at the drivers. We have two types, mount drivers and no-mount drivers. Many find these two quite confusing. The mount serves as an intermediate connector for implant placement. By connecting the driver to the mount, you can protect the implant surface from any damage and verify the path immediately after placement. That's the main advantage. But it must be removed afterward, which some clinicians find cumbersome, so its use is optional. You can check the package to see if it's no-mount or pre-mounted. Let me open these to show you the difference. This is no-mount. And that's pre-mounted. It's easy to get them mixed up. But don't worry, I'll help you understand. First, I will peel back the packaging and drop the implant. You can see that the pre-mounted implant is suspended inside. While the no-mount type is firmly seated in the package. Now, I'm sure you can easily distinguish between the two. The tool I've just connected to the handpiece is the no-mount driver. I'll now show you how to connect the no-mount implant here. Simply twist the cap to open the package and the ampoule will come out attached to it. Then, hold the ampoule and snap the cap to open it completely. You can see the hex structure of the implant. The driver also has a matching hex, so you align them perfectly. After seating the driver, tilt it slightly and gently pull it out horizontally. When you hand it over, make sure to turn it upside down so the implant is pointing upward. If not, it might fall off the driver. So, always keep it upright during the transfer. When removing the tool from the handpiece, press the back of the head slightly to release it. Now, let's connect the pre-mounted implant. I'll be using the mount driver. It looks like this as it's designed to encapsulate the mount to hold it securely. You can see the difference here. Twist it to open, the process is the same. It looks quite different, doesn't it? Now, hold this mount horizontally and align the hex. Some of you might find it tricky to pull out at first. But all you have to do is snap it like this, and the implant will come out attached to the driver. Then, you can transfer it. After placing the pre-mounted implant, you'll use this tool to detach the mount. But in cases with dense bone, the inner screw might come out alone, leaving the mount stuck in the bone. If this happens, you can use the R tools in this kit. R stands for removal. They look like screws. All you have to do is insert one and turn it clockwise to pop the mount out. So, if the mount gets stuck, just have the right removal tool ready for the clinician. Now that we've covered all the instruments and how to use them, let's look at the drilling sequence.
드릴링 시퀀스에 대해서 한번 알아보도록 하겠습니다.
Like I said, you'll widen the site step by step. We used to go through about 5 different drilling steps. But with the 122TaperKIT, you can finish everything in 2 steps or fewer. This means there are no intermediate steps. You can complete the process using only the initial and final drills. To make it clearer, let me explain it again. The 122TaperKIT is a major advancement, featuring optimized drill shapes and a minimal drilling sequence. In most cases, you'll only need at most 2 drilling steps. For normal bone, you'll use the nominal drill, where the final drill size matches the implant size.
환자 일반적인 골질인 경우에는 드릴 사이즈와 임플란트 식립 사이즈를 맞추고요.
But for soft bone, you'll perform underdrilling to increase the bone interference. For example, using an f3.5 drill for a 4.0mm implant. For dense bone, on the other hand, you'll overdrill to minimize heat generation, using an f4.5 drill for a 4.0mm implant. Depending on the patient's bone quality, you'll simply choose between overdrilling or underdrilling. Since the clinician makes decisions during drilling, we need to stay one step ahead of the workflow. Let's say we're placing a 4.0mm implant. For normal bone, you'd first prepare the guide drill, followed by an f3.5 drill matching the implant length, and finally an f4.0 drill at 11.5mm. Next, for a 4.5mm diameter, 8.5mm length implant, you'll first hand over the guide drill for the clinician to check the path. Then, follow up with an f3.5 drill at 8.5mm, and finish with an f4.5 drill as the final step, skipping the intermediate drilling. Lastly, for a 5.0mm diameter, 8.5mm length implant, you'll go from the guide drill to an f3.5 at 8.5mm, and finish with an f5.0. This is the drilling sequence for implants in normal bone. Opening implant products can be a bit tricky at first. So, let's go over how to check the specs and open them properly. Usually the cartons are stacked up like this, on the top lid. You can find all the essential information. First, check the implant system. This one is a TS system. SA, right here refers to the surface treatment. Since this is a dummy product, you can just ignore that part for now. You can also see that this is a pre-mounted implant with a 5.0mm diameter and an 8.5mm length. Since we'll be wearing gloves, we don't open the box the usual way. Instead, press down firmly with both hands, and it'll pop right open. Inside, you'll see the blister pack. Find the peel tab and peel it back. Before you open it completely, do one last check, a 5.0mm diameter, 8.5mm length TS implant. Peel it off and drop the implant from the air onto the sterile field. This is to prevent contamination. If you're transferring the implant after connecting it to the handpiece, Make sure to double-check the specs on the ampoule one last time. Can you see it clearly? This is a 5.0 mm diameter, 8.5 mm length implant. Just twist it open to get it ready for the clinician. Now that we've covered the drilling sequence, there's one last step, the implant placement. During this stage, there's one thing you need to keep in mind, something that often gets overlooked. Let's take a look. If the motor is in drilling mode, the speed is set at 1,200 RPM, which is extremely high. But for implant placement, it must be set to a much lower speed, around 40 RPM. Most clinics use two preset modes, Mode 1 and Mode 2. You must verify this mode switch before handing over the implant after connecting it to the handpiece. Without this double check, the implant could be driven in at high speed, which can lead to a serious clinical accident. So, always check the Mode 1 last time. Just push the button on the motor like this to switch modes. This might not always be a hygienist's routine task, but it's the best way to keep things safe. If the clinician proceeds in drilling mode, you can let them know, or simply switch the mode yourself and say, "It's in placement mode now," before handing over the handpiece. Today, we looked into various instruments in the implant kit. I hope this helps you feel more confident in the operating room. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.